Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today. The purpose of this news conference is to announce arrest of Mr. Michael Cornell Jr. and charges against him. Of course, you all know he is the current mayor of the City of Riverview. He is currently in police custody. In a minute, we'll introduce our speakers, but I do want to let you know that when charges are filed against a public official, we know that it denotes a certain level of wanting more answers. There are just going to be some questions that we won't be able to answer right now. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and introduce St. Louis County Prosecuting Attorney, Miss Melissa Price-Smith. She will be followed by Miss Portia Britt of the Prosecuting Attorney's Office, and then St. Louis County Police Lieutenant Colonel Jerry Lohr of the Division of Criminal Investigation.
Good afternoon. I'd like to thank the St. Louis County Police for their tireless work and thorough investigation. This afternoon, our office charged the mayor of the City of Riverview, Michael Cornell, age 39, with the following charges: 4 counts of statutory sodomy second degree, C felonies, 3 counts of sodomy in the first degree, unclassified felonies, 1 count of harassment, an E felony, and 1 count of possession of child pornography, a B felony. He was taken into custody this afternoon with a $1 million cash-only bond. At this time, there are 4 total victims, which include juveniles and adults. The time frame spans with these charges from January of 2016 to present day. Our biggest concern is that there may be additional victims during this time frame I listed or even before. This is a call to any potential victims. Your voice matters. If you are a victim or you know someone who is, please come forward. Please contact the St. Louis County Police Bureau of Crimes Against Persons. Thank you. I'm going to hand it over to Portia Britt.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you to Prosecutor Price-Smith. The allegations and charges in this case are deeply disturbing, and to reiterate Prosecutor Price-Smith's sentiments, the St. Louis County Prosecutor's Office is committed to seeking justice for every victim that comes forward. To every victim, we recognize it is easy for us to say this, as we have not lived your experiences, we have not walked in your shoes. But we want you to know that there is no shame in the crimes that were perpetrated against you. The only person that should feel shame in this situation is Mr. Cornell, and we encourage you to contact the Crimes Against Persons Unit when you are ready. We again thank our partners in law enforcement for their tireless work over the last 3 weeks, and with that, I will turn it over to Colonel Lohr with the St. Louis County Police Department.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon. I'm just going to kind of pick up where she left off by starting by thanking the detectives that have worked this case. They worked tirelessly to bring justice for these victims. So they've put a lot of hours, a lot of time into making sure that we were able to present a case to the prosecutor that we believe will get issued, and that our victims will feel some sort of a sense of justice. I'd like to thank the prosecutor's office. As always, we have a great working relationship. We're able to discuss cases, work through these cases, which helps our detectives assemble the information they need to present a case that we can get issued. I'd like to thank our victims. This is, when you understand what these victims have gone through, it is extremely traumatic. And for these victims to feel comfortable coming forward to tell their stories, it takes a tremendous amount of courage. So thank you to them. And if there are any other victims out there, I would encourage you to come forward. I'd also like to take a moment to thank the media. I appreciate the fact that this has been a kind of an ongoing story for a little while, and I know most of you were probably aware that something was going on, and I appreciate your patience. Obviously, there are certain things that we can talk about, and there are certain things we can't talk about, so I appreciate your patience in waiting for us to be able to get here to the point where we are today. I'll kind of make a closing statement, which it's disturbing to us, to those of us that are in positions of authority. When we abuse that position of authority, it ruins the trust that the public has placed in us. And situations like this, unfortunately, tear down that fabric of trust. And it is disturbing, and it is unfortunate. And once again, we will have to rebuild that trust with those people that we serve. So with that, I'll try to answer some of your questions to the best of my ability.
You mentioned the position of authority being abused. Did he use that specifically to get access to or assault some of these victims?
I would say yes. I think he did use his position of authority, yes.
Can you elaborate any further on how?
I think he portrayed himself as an individual who had power, who had prestige, and I think he used that to entice some of his victims, yes.
We know that he has lawsuits against him alleging harassment after individuals would turn down his sexual advances. Are any of those individuals who have sued also victims in this case?
I don't know the specifics of any kind of active civil liability. I suspect there probably are. There probably is some crossover between, but I don't know for sure, so I don't want to specifically say yes or no to that.
What specifically triggered the search of his home in City Hall last month?
So this investigation began in late December, and obviously when victims came forward and disclosed information, that's what triggered the search of his home and the search of his person.
Can you elaborate on the timeline for the alleged victims? There was just a wide span of time. Just could you clarify a little bit of that?
Absolutely. So these charges, I believe, started in 2016. So that's when the first incidents that we are aware of occurred. Our investigation began at the end of December. We were able to contact some of the victims. We were able to kind of put it all together, and we're to the point where we are today.
Is he related to any of the victims, or can you share anything about that?
I'm not going to. I would tell you that his victims are acquaintances of his. But that's as much as I would want to discuss about the
Did any of
victims.
these alleged crimes, do you suspect any of them happened at City Hall or in a professional setting?
I'd rather not say.
When did you all start investigating?
So our investigation began at the end of December, late December is when we were made aware of it.
You mentioned minors. How many of the victims that have come forward are minors?
I believe 2 of our victims are minors.
You mentioned the investigation began in December. Were you guys tipped off by someone? Did a victim come forward?
So yeah, our investigation began in December. We were made aware of it through another agency, and we were asked to basically pick up and continue on the investigation.
Another law enforcement agency?
Yes, sir.
Was it a federal agency or was it another?
No,
county?
local.
Was it the Riverview Police Department?
I won't say specifically which agency, but we were asked to.
Is the FBI involved in the investigation?
No, these charges are all state charges.
Said minors, can you say roughly how old they're?
Early teen, well, yeah, under the age of 17.
Did city officials or village officials, I guess it's the city, now city officials offer any resistance when your officers went to City Hall to search that?
I think we had a little bit when we executed the warrant. There was a little bit of resistance, and I think it was maybe misunderstanding or just some confusion as to why we were there. We were able to work through that without any conflict or confrontation.
By resistance, just mean verbal resistance, basically?
A little bit of stalling, yes.
Can you elaborate on anything that you confiscated from City Hall or from his home?
No, we took digital evidence. We took some items that we believed were relevant based on statements made by victims, so.
Obviously, these are very traumatic crimes for these victims. Can you speak to, your pursuit of justice for them, given the nature?
Absolutely. As kind of mentioned before, our detectives work tirelessly for every victim, regardless of whether they're a minor or an adult. However, when we do have victims that are minors, they are truly defenseless. They are truly those that have no one to protect them. And so we do, I hate to say it, but we pay a lot of attention to that, and we take those very, very seriously. Anybody that's been a victim here, so anybody, if there are other victims out there, I would implore you to come forward. And I realize that's difficult, and I realize you're going to have to tell your story, and that's hard. You relive those kind of traumatic events. But I would encourage them to come forward. I think it does It does begin the healing process. It does begin the recovery process. We're committed to bringing justice for every victim. But again, in this situation, when you have somebody that's in a position of authority who is able to somewhat use that position of authority to abuse other people, obviously it's traumatic and devastating.
Can you tell us about when and where he was arrested?
He was arrested today, approximately 2 hours ago, an hour and a half ago, in the City of Riverview.
What is it about either the evidence or the nature of the case that you believe there are additional victims here?
Well, in these types of cases with this type of behavior, based on the victims that we've talked to, it's possible that this is like a predatory type of behavior. And we're concerned that if he was, willing to do it to a minor, that there may be other minors that we're just not aware of. Obviously we have digital evidence, we have forensic evidence, and so we would implore other victims, if there are other victims out there, to come forward.
Do you expect additional charges?
It's potential. So obviously this portion of the investigation is completed. It doesn't mean that the entire investigation is completed. As evidence presents itself, we'll take a look at that. We'll present that to the PA's office as it comes forward.
Is there additional evidence from the raid that still needs to be evaluated for other charges, or has that all been gone through?
That's all been gone through, yes.
When you said the mayor was arrested in the city of Riverview at City Hall,
He was not. He was arrested on a traffic stop.
on traffic, okay.
Mhm. All right.
I guess what happens now in the City of Riverview, is that something you can speak to at all?
I can't speak to that. I would defer that to the City of Riverview. Obviously, there'll be some questions about what their next steps are. So,
Do you have any reason to believe that other politicians or other individuals in charge in Riverview knew and covered up or for the mayor at all?
at this point, no.
Do you believe Riverview police officers did any covering up for Mr. Cornell?
No, not this time. And if we did, we would seek charges. We would move forward with an investigation if we thought they were complicit.
Do you think anyone else knew, besides the victims, about what happened?
There's no evidence to lead us to believe that. So,
Okay.
all right. Thank you very much. Yep.
So thank you guys for coming. I just want to give the phone number for anyone out there who believes they may have been a victim of Mr. Cornell. They can reach our detectives in the Division of Criminal Investigation at 314-615-5400. And that's all we have for you today. If we have additional information, we will disseminate that information as it becomes available. I think everyone has been sent the news release with all the charges and everything, so that's all we have for today.
Oh, Vera, what is Ms. Britt's title? It just says other prosecutor.
She's with the St. Louis County Prosecuting
Why not? Is she
Attorney's
assistant
Office.
prosecutor?
Let's ask her.
I assume that, but I want to be sure. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.